What's up YouTube, it's the Twisted here, bringing up a review of a tank which I've recently just been given as a gift from a very kind player called Tool149. We recently purchased this for me yesterday, which I was extremely shocked at, but also extremely grateful, as it's a tank I've been wanting to try out for quite a while. So, without getting into too many details, I've played a few games in it and I've had quite a mixed bag of results, but one thing I can say is it is a very fun tank to play. Now, the reason why it's so good is its armour, which I'll go into details in a minute with. However, first I would like to say that I have had a few comments now saying why do you keep doing TR8 tanks. Well, my favourite TR to play is, ironically, TR8. Surprise. As we can see there, TR8 is my most played TR by far. However, the reason I'm doing these reviews is I see a lot of new players driving around in lows, T34s, IS6s, etc, etc. And I thought, before, maybe if I make some of these videos, it might give them a heads up on what they're getting themselves into beforehand, as I've seen quite a few players playing the vehicles in the completely the wrong manner, such as trying to lead an assault with a T34, sitting back and trying to snipe with an IS6, which is definitely wrong, which I'll go into details with shortly. So, the IS6, there it is in all its beauty. Note I don't have the full equipment slots on it yet, or any camouflage paint, as like I said, I only was given it yesterday. However, I'll go through the lists. 1550 hit points, that's good. You know, my T34 heavy has 1500. Armour, so weight, 51.9 tons, so 52 tons. It's, you know, a lot lighter than that, for example, the T34. I don't have a low to compare, but I believe the low is a lot heavier. I think that low is 900 tons, but anyways. 700 horsepower. It is quite manoeuvrable, ironically, for a heavy tank. You know, unlike the low and the T34, this tank can react to changes in the battlefield and move to whichever flank or wherever the enemy's most needed. The traverse speed 26. I've heard some people complain, but personally one of my favourite tanks is yet again the T34, and that has a 22-degree traverse speed. So, you know, it's a heavy tank, I'm not going to complain. Now, the armour, even though it says 100mm on the front, I was bouncing like a boss. Yes, there's all I can really use to describe it. I was ricocheting shells left, right and centre. It really is just unbelievably bouncy from the front. I mean, like I said there, I've got a Type 59, and the one thing I hate doing is shooting at these things, because they just ricochet. Unless I'm up close, it'll just bounce. And even then, because of the angling, I mean, look at that. You know, you stand a good chance of bouncing even up close, to be honest with you. It really, really is a good vehicle. 150 turret armour, which, you know, is obviously, I'm assuming it's the front, but obviously you've got the gun mantlet there, which adds more to it, but obviously, you know, that is quite well sloped, to be honest with you. So, as you can see, like that, yep, you know, it is quite sloped. Obviously you have got your hatches on the top in your viewport, but to be honest with you, they're going to be a very either good shot or lucky shot to get it. Now, where this vehicle isn't so good, but it's still very, you know, very competitive, is the gun. The 122 D30. For all intents and purposes, it's the D25T from the IS. 5.13 rounds a minute, 175 penetration, 390 damage. Now, the damage is great. The penetration is meh, but you'll never get this into a TR10 game. You can and may see TR9 games with it. That's not a problem, but you'll never see a TR10 game, which is, you know, with that penetration, you may as well just be using HE. The accuracy, now this is where people, this is the main reason I'm making these videos. I've seen so many IS6s sitting at the back of the field trying to snipe with this thing. It won't work. You may get some lucky hits, but, you know, you're going to be very lucky with it. I mean, this gun on here is 0.35, and that's, on this tank, it's generally considered to be an inaccurate gun. So, you know, that should put it into perspective for you. 3.4 second aim time is mammoth. It's the biggest, I believe. Well, it's on par with T34, I think. Yep, exactly. There we go. However, you know, enhanced gun laying drive, so there's 0.34 seconds, so that drops it down to almost 3. Now, you can, obviously on this, drop it with the enhanced gun laying drive, which is there, 10% aiming speed. However, on this one you can also fit the vertical stabilizer Mark II, which gives you a flat 20% accuracy buff. Now what that means is subtract 20% from 3.4 seconds, and that's what you gain off it at all times. The gun laying drive only comes into effect when you're stopped. That enhanced vertical stabilizer Mark II is continual. It's a effect which does not stop. Now, I have also noticed recently a lot, especially new players for some reason, driving around using the armour piercing composite ridged, otherwise known as premium ammo, which is that one there. Now, yes, 175mm of penetration is not amazing for a TR8 heavy tank, but you're a brawler. You know, this thing is designed to drive up to the face of an enemy tank and just derp them before using its speed to reverse back out and relying on its armour to bounce, absorb and ricochet any shots. So, you know, there is realistically no need to be using premium ammo unless you're up against a Tier 9 tank like an A75. However, even if you've still got the speed and manoeuvrability to flank them. I'm not saying you're a medium by any means of feat, but you can do it. So, like I said, that is the gun. Now, one thing I did with this last night, because ironically in my first game I ended up in a Tier 9 battle, well, 3 Tier 9s per side, and it was on Himmelsdorf. Now, I had a sneaky suspicion once seeing that 100mm side armour that this tank would be good at side scraping. Even though the turret is at the front, I thought I'll give it a try. And I managed to hold up a Centurion 7-1, an EMX Foch, and a T54. All of them doing 0 damage except damaging me tracks. That's all they did. I ended the battle on 100% health just by the correct use of side scraping. If you're not familiar with what side scraping is, please check on the rest of the videos on my channels. You'll see a small demonstration of us doing it on an A50, which is a medium tank. Now, if an A50 can do it, pretty much most tanks, especially this one, can. Now, I won't go into the details about overmatch mechanics. That is also on the other video. So, you know, to work out the overmatch mechanics, you'll have to watch that video. But I'd just like to point out while I'm here, the angling of that side armour there. It's not a flat surface neither, it's angled. So even side scrape, when you're side scraping, not only do they have to try and contend with hitting the flat surface dead on, but even then, when you angle the tank like that, the armour itself is also angled up, which makes it even more difficult to penetrate. Now, I did notice a lot of people shooting us along this, and to be honest with you, they might have knocked me track off once or twice, but I'm pretty sure I took no actual damage from it, which is always a good thing. Now, like every tank, there is the weak spots, the driver's periscope, the lower glacis. I've mentioned these little commander's hatch, and I'm assuming that's like some kind of ventilation fan, and a periscope on the turret, but they are relative. Look at the size of them. I mean, if you're looking at this tank front on, you know, they are small. They are very small. However, the back is 60mm, and as most tanks, you know, the back is vulnerable. But I had a T44 bouncing shells off the back of his left right side, because I mean, just look at it. Even that is angled everywhere. So, to summarise this tank in short, it's a close range, in your face brawler. City maps love this thing because it just suits this tank so well. Side scrape, fire, absorb, ricochet, bounce, absorb some shells. You know, you've got the health to eat some shells if needed. You know, drive back into cover, reload. Like I said, it hasn't got a massive rate of fire yet. Well, I say yet, I don't think mine quite reaches that because my crew is not 100% yet, and I don't have everything on. But in a city map, side scrape, shoot, reverse back into cover, ricochet, drive out, shoot, rinse and repeat, you'll be doing fine. Now, like I said, I'm making these videos to try and help players who are new to the game, plan on buying a Tier 8 tank, because I'm sure most of you by now have seen the lows, the T34s, or the Tier 8 premium tanks driven by players who aren't quite sure what their role is in a game, and therefore causing the team to be missing one top tank, which is never fun if we're being honest. So I'm not bashing on new players, or anybody else for that matter. You play the way you wish to play, but to get maximum effect out of your vehicle and maximum credit generated and maximum experience, if you want to use it to grind free experience, you need to know your role on the battlefield. So like I said, this one is a brawler. Get up into the face, punch the teeth in with the main gun, back out, rinse and repeat, and you'll find yourself having a whale of a time. I mean, if I just have a look, I've only played a few games in this so far. Yep, there we go. I've only played 16 games in it so far, and I'm in love with this tank, to be honest with you. I really am. It is such a fun tank to play. However, the downside to it is you will find everybody just looting APCR and smacking you with it straight away, especially other IS6s, which can get quite infuriating, to say the least. But, such as life, that's what happens nowadays when they give away APCR for credits. Took away the skill-based aspect of aiming for weak points, just give them an auto-aim ability. Not going to get into that debate because, as per normal, it just ends up with one person saying something and another person, it just ends up in a major flame war. So, everyone's got their own personal opinions. You're more than welcome to comment on whether you disagree or agree with what I say below. But please, no flaming, it's not necessary. Just take the fact that everyone's got an opinion and is entitled to one. So, like I said, this is my review for the IS6. I'm going to try and get some more games in on it tonight, try and get me Master Tank. I believe I got me first class after only the second game. I think it was second class. Let's have a double check. Nope, I got me first class. So I think I got me second class after the second game. My first class must have been like a bit later after that, but I've only played 16 games anyways. And almost 2,000 experience in one game, which should tell you all you need to know really. But like I said, this is Twisted. Thank you very much for watching. As normal, please feel free to like, dislike, comment, rate, and above all, subscribe. So good night and thanks for watching.